Hello everybody, how is it going? I am Lucas, and the album we're going to be checking out today is Empath from the great Canadian Devin Townsend. I didn't actually know this before the album, but empath actually means someone who's very sensitive to feelings. Someone who, if they're around people who's feeling like extreme pain or extreme sadness, they'll be very sensitive to it and they'll actually start feeling the pain along with them, which is very interesting because it definitely correlates to how this album goes. This album is Devin's first album since disbanding the Devin Townsend project, which he kept together for a very long amount of time. And this is his first album that he's done in a long while just by himself. This album, it's really insane, and it's kind of hard to describe because going back to what I was talking about with the Empath, is a range of feelings and emotions and tons of things on here. You have a very good choir that's on here, you have an orchestra that's on here, and Devin also hired some very good players for the drums and bass and keyboard, and you can really tell because the quality of everything is very high. And Devin actually spent $170,000 on this album of his own money, and I imagine that was from paying the choir and the orchestra, because you know it's not cheap to hire those guys, especially if you want them to be really good. So this might be his most expensive album to date now that I actually sit back and think about it, and it was well worth the money that he spent because the choir and the orchestra on here are beautiful. Sometimes they shine through and they are the focal point of, and other times they're in the background and they create a very nice, good atmosphere for everything. Speaking of both of those, one of my favorite songs on this album is Why. Tell me why. No, not Backstreet Boys. This song it's really cool because it's mainly just the choir and Dev and the orchestra, and it's big and lush and full and grand, and it's very pretty, and he even growls at one point in it because they got like this little happy little song, you know, melody going on, and he's like growling over it, and it's very interesting. It's great. That kind of describes a lot of this album. You'll have a lot of violent parts that are very heavy, and you got blast beats and double bass drum pedals going on, and then you have nice, quiet, peaceful parts of it. I mean, the very first song, Castaway, is like being cast away on an island. You got, you know, birds, and you've got water, and you know, the waves rushing in, and it really feels like you're sitting on a beach. And it starts off with that, and then the final track on your Singularity, it's 23 minutes. It's broken up into different movements, but that takes you on a wild ride. I mean, literally everything that the album has is in there. I mean, you have prog, you have metal, you have laid back and stuff, you have the choir, you have the orchestra. There's a lot of stuff packed into this album. It's one of these albums that you have to listen to a lot to really sit back and appreciate all of the different parts, because it is kind of random at times. It bounces all over the place, but it's controlled chaos is the best way I can describe it. And the album I listened to also had a bonus album with it, and it had all of the demos. I guess it was the songs that didn't actually make disc 1, and he actually had a song on the bonus disc called Empath, so I guess he cut his own title track from the main album because I guess he didn't like it, or he guess it didn't fit. But all of the songs pretty much on the second album are pretty good. They're not, I wouldn't say, you know, they're above and amazing in his greatest work, but they're still good for a bonus album, which I guess the man's insane, and he does a ton of work and puts out a ton of songs, as you can see. But overall, what would I give this album? I think I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5. It is very great. This was a very big endeavor. He actually got this out pretty fast considering all things. I mean, I'm sure this was a very hard album to coordinate with the choir and the strings and getting everything together. It's big, it's majestic, it's wonderful. It's very hard to describe because, like I said, it's violent, and it's beautiful, and it's pretty, then it's violent. And these things will happen like within 1 or 2 seconds of each other. It'll be violent for 2 seconds and pretty and violent again. It's insane. If you're a fan of Devin Townsend, you're definitely gonna love this album. It's very definitely your trip. If you've listened to Devin before and he's not really for you, I don't know if I'd recommend it. You might like a few songs. Anyway, enough about me. What about you? Do you like this album? What are some of your favorite songs from it? Let me know in the comments down below. It's me, got to be out. Peace.